So, if you're watching this video, chances are you have a Raspberry Pi laying around and you're quite confused or bored with what to do with it. You're looking for a component or project to experiment with. If that really is the case, let me interest you with this, a 2.7-inch ink display for the Raspberry Pi and Arduino if you have one laying around. And trust me when I say, this component here will let you do so many existing projects as long as coming up with new ones. But first, let's talk about some basics. Let's first start with the display that you have on your phone, laptop, and monitor. These are called LCD and OLED displays. If you put them under a microscope, you can see that each pixel is actually made of an individually lit LED, changing its color and brightness based on what needs to be displayed on the screen. E-ink works a bit differently from that. Instead of having a color-changing LED as a pixel, just like its name indicates, an ink display has ink as a pixel. Whenever there is a signal sent from a computer to an e-ink display, every pixel changes its ink color accordingly to display the graphics. With this fundamental difference, e-ink display is known to be much more power efficient than a traditional LCD or OLED display. This means that if you use an e-ink display over an LCD or OLED display with your Raspberry Pi projects, you can actually have your projects lasting days on the battery. You might think that e-ink display is only made for Raspberry Pis and hobbyist projects, but no, they're actually very popular. Ink displays are normally used for digital signage, advertisement boards, and e-readers like the Amazon Kindle. With that in mind, let's move on into what projects can you do with an e-ink display and a Raspberry Pi. A good project to start out with an e-ink display and a Raspberry Pi would be something like a personal badge project, where you have a Raspberry Pi running and displaying a badge. This would help you display your personal or professional information in an e-ink display. This can be done easily by something as simple as an Arduino, a Raspberry Pi Zero, or a lab potato. These are all low power devices. And next tier from that project would be something like a weather station. This is a project where you call in an API and display it in real time. This is a bit more involved. You can get this done in about an hour or two. Also, I will have all of the projects linked down below for some more reading. Now, if you have something like the Raspberry Pi 4, you can actually do the next project. This is called a Panagachi. This is a project where a Raspberry Pi will be running a machine learning algorithm that keeps on hacking Wi-Fi networks around it. And it does so with a certain amount of cuteness. Now, if you have even more money and power to spend, I would recommend getting a Pimoroni e-ink display. Not only this thing is really big, but it also has 7 colors. A good example of project would be from YouTube. This guy made a Spotify player on Raspberry Pi while having the e-ink display showing the music art. I just think that's super cool. Now, if you're interested, I would recommend you pick up one of these. The reason this display is so useful is because it's the most popular type, so there's most projects built around it. Anyway, good night and take care.